Welcome back to Spookier Celluloid. And who said that we had to stop watching atmospheric black and white old horror films because October was over? Certainly not me, because that's just what I do during the entire year. And today, it's no exception, it's The Witch's Mirror, a film from Chano Urieta. And the Spanish, the original name, because I know some of you love when I speak other languages, El Espejo de la Bruja. Rate my Spanish. So this is a film from 1962. It is, of course, from Mexico. This DVD was released from Panic House. And what's funny about me reviewing this right now is I got a comment recently on my collection video telling me, basically asking me why I didn't have any Mexican/Latino horror films, which I'm sure I did at that time, but I have gotten some more this year. And why I didn't have any Indian films, which, by the way, I don't know what that question was. I collect what I collect, and I get my hands on what I can get my hands on. You know? Anyways, The Witch's Mirror. So yeah, 1962, this is of course in black and white, and it is a film about witches, witchcraft, and I do have a soft spot for these types of films about witchcraft, as you saw probably during my October Horror Month challenge. I do love me some old classic black and white atmospheric films about witches, and this film starts pretty promising. We have a narrator telling us basically the history of humankind using witchcraft and being witches over some pretty goddamn metal drawings of the depiction of hell, which is pretty cool. And then we meet our main character, Sarah, and Sarah is this not I was gonna say gatekeeper girl boss. No, she's a housekeeper, not gatekeeper. She's this housekeeper for this doctor who is married to this woman called Elena. And Elena, Sarah is into witchcraft. She's into the dark arts, and she basically asks the powers that be about the future of Elena. And the thing about this film is that it uses this old myth of mirrors being a reflection of the future or your soul. And basically, Sarah talks to the mirror and asks her what is the Elena's future. Then we learn that, Elena's gonna get killed by her husband, Eduardo, who's I think I mentioned it, a medical doctor. It's gonna be relevant for later in the film. And that's absolutely what he does. This movie is very short. It's 75 minutes, and it goes to it basically, it goes fast. It's well paced. So, as you can imagine, Elena gets poisoned, and then, and during that time, Sarah tries to call at the powers that be to ask them to save Elena, but the statuette, the demon statuette, that talks, and it talks to Sarah, basically telling her that that's Elena's fate. She can't do anything about it, and she's gonna die anyways. But what Sarah can do, she can't stop Eduardo from killing Elena, but what she can do is, after Elena's death, she can take revenge for her by calling upon her soul and her spirit to haunt basically Eduardo and his new wife, Deborah. I'm so surprised that I remembered all of the characters' names in this. I think it's because they say their names a lot. There's a lot of yelling somebody's name, so that's why it's easier to remember. This, as some moments, is very melodramatic, but again, this is very typical of horror films from this era, especially Spanish-speaking ones, or because this came out about the same time as Jess Franco's the awful Dr. Orloff, and it shares a lot of similarity, which this film also shares some similarities with Eyes Without a Face, because basically what happens is that Elena, girl's boss, is too close to the sun, and she scares the shit out of Deborah and Eduardo, and basically Eduardo accidentally sets Deborah on fire during this awesome scene of somebody actually being on fire, and holy shit, that's a big fire. It's a big flame. So that was impressive. And yeah, so basically, the film is gonna turn at the like halfway point into this doctor trying to rebuild his wife's face, a la Eyes Without a Face, a la The Awful Dr. Orloff. It was kind of a very common story at in this era. Sorry guys, my nose is so stuffy. I feel disgusting sniffling into the microphone, but you'll have to tolerate this for a while, because this the season of the change of temperature, and my nose is stuffy. The air in my classes is fucking terrible, and it makes me stuffy, so you'll have to deal with me. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, so the doctor will the doctor will commit basically sacrilege by going to, fucking Christ, this is a hard video to make. This is why this is my second channel. He's gonna dig up graves of beautiful young women to use their skin and parts of their bodies to rebuild Deborah's face. And that's basically the story. I don't want to get too much into it, because like I said, this is a pretty underrated. I rarely hear anybody talk about this, and honestly, this would have been a great watch in like October on a night, like around midnight, where you have it's dark outside, all the lights are closed, and you're just there with like, I don't know, a blanket and some popcorn. This is like the perfect atmospheric film for that. Is it scary? I don't think the scares, again, like a lot of these early 60s film, aged very well, but I can see how it can be spooky in this fun kind of spooky way. Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid movie. And like I said, I've never heard anybody talk about this. I mean, this DVD did come out in 2006 by Panic House in their Casa Negra Presents Legendary Mexican Cinema. And what I like about this DVD is that it's bilingual. So if you're if you're Spanish, if you're like from Mexico and you bought this film because you're interested in your homeland's films, you can get it in Spanish, which I usually complain about because that's what they do for like French and English, but to me this makes sense because this is a Spanish film, so why not have the option of a Spanish cover? I don't know what I'm saying. This is a fucking hard movie. Not a hard movie. This is a hard video to make. This is terrible. I'm probably not gonna upload this. But yeah, The Witch's Mirror. It's great. I give it a 7.52 out of 10. I could go higher, depending on the mood. I did watch this on a Saturday morning, because I like to watch foreign black and white films from the 60s on Saturday mornings for some reason. Something nostalgic. Like, a lot of these older films feel like classic horror Universal kind of movies, and this certainly has this atmosphere, this black and white, you know, it's 4:3, so it's a square frame. I don't know, there's something like oddly nostalgic about these films. But yeah, 7.52 could go up. It's a good movie. Go watch it. I'm not gonna post this video on anywhere. I'm not gonna promote it. I am gonna post it because fucking Christ.